Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, the sound works. As you can see, I have Polly with me. Andie is she's running a little late, so she's on her way. So I'll just start this. Welcome, everyone, and I'm happy to see new faces and just more people actually coming. Wow, this is fun. So welcome to our, what is it, 7th AMA? I think
got
so.
it. Yeah, good. I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Reykjavík. It's like 10 degrees or something. It's like summer, I guess. Yeah, we're here to answer your questions, whatever you want to ask. We have some questions here, of course, perhaps some from you, of course. But the best efficient way, it seems, is just to go like from the top left and the line like down, like this. Yeah. Anyways, my name is Valur Grettisson, of course. I'm an editor-in-chief at Reykjavík Grapevine. With me is Polly, the chief of morale. She doesn't like to sit in the chair. She just wants to be at the floor. Andie is our news editor, and she is she's in the bus or something. She's just on her way. Guess the bus is running late. So welcome, everyone. And perhaps just if we begin with Corinne Vasquez.
Oh, hey.
Let's just go into it. First of all, where are you from, Corinne? Are you American?
Yes. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. As I know, we love Polly, so hi, Polly. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing this. It's wonderful. I've been learning about your wonderful country.
Thank you.
And I did email a question, but just in case you didn't see it, my concern kind of was about like, now that there's no stopping the lava and it cuts out your internet service, are you all concerned about that? Or do you have like a workaround to get through that, or who knows? Hi.
Welcome, Andie.
Hi.
I told them that your bus is probably running late.
Yes.
So, the question is here, like you sent it to us. I'm excited to meet you both and participate. My question, I'm concerned about you losing your internet signal if the lava reaches the road. Has this possibility been discussed at the Reykjavík Grapevine, and what would you do if this happens? So, first of all, this is not the internet connection for the city area. This is only the internet connection for the south of Iceland, which is quite far away. The volcano itself is like in 40 kilometers distance from here. And then when you're at the volcano site, then you're like 15 to 40 kilometers from like the next town, and then Reykjanesbær, which is like the biggest town in the Reykjanes Peninsula.
Okay.
To stop me if I'm going too fast, and the Icelandic is weak and so on, but meaning that this cable, what is it? Cable? Ljósleiðari?
Yes, it's what's it called again? Fiber optic cable.
Yeah, right. It's like it's so weird in Icelandic. It's like light connection.
Light connection.
Yeah. Anyways, the fiber connection is basically one of many, and it's not that much of a hassle for the companies to connect in a different way. And the same goes with the road that is there. Like there is, of course, like a road we called Suðurstrandarvegur, or the South Beach Road. We like to compile words in Icelandic. And this road actually is just one of two out of the area. This is not and had never been that popular as a road from the area, because we have a very nice highway, of course, closer to the ocean on the west side of the Reykjanes Peninsula. I know it doesn't mean much, but it's like basically on the other side of all of the volcano and the lava. So So we're like, this is not a catastrophe or anything serious in any way. it's just a hassle. like all of like this volcanoes, there's like a minor hassle. Like sometimes there's gas, sometimes it's not, and not like dangerous, but it could be, and it's like something like that. I don't know.
Well, your video, and thank you to you and Art, it's just been fascinating. It's almost like we could step through and be right there witnessing everything. So
Oh,
it's been
glad to hear.
awesome. And I do have one more question.
Yeah.
If either you could be in the States, I understand it's Andie, correct?
Yes.
You've lived here in the States. Valur, have you ever been to the US? And if not, where would you want to visit?
I've been to the US, yeah. I went to New York. That's the only place I've actually visited in the US. For some reason, I only traveled there once. And to be honest, it was like a culture shock to be there, both like because of course, there's Hollywood, Woody Allen, and like these old movies. I knew New York better than I expected, which was interesting. But I was also quite shocked because I was there in like the high winter, how cold it was there. Much colder than in Iceland, for example, although it's not as windy. It's just like, it like gets into your bones somehow. It's like, it's a very nasty coldness. As well as I was quite shocked to see homeless people. It was, and how like that they were almost like, both like how many they were and also like how invisible they were, which was quite shocking for at least a Scandinavian, a person from the Nordic countries. So it was, yeah, it was an eye-opener, but the city itself was absolutely wonderful. It was just amazing to see everything there.
Well, if you ever come to Arizona, be prepared. Like our summer is about to approach and we get 100+ temperatures daily. So
yeah, not much for the heat, to be honest, but I do like some heat, but too much is I just lose all like power within the body.
you're not the only one.
I've been like Baltimore, where I'm originally from. It also gets hot, not like Arizona hot, of course, but it's also very humid. But when I was traveling to California, we stopped briefly in West Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, where the thermometer read, 95 Fahrenheit, close to 100 Fahrenheit. But it felt great because there was no humidity, the air was clean, and there was like a constant, steady breeze.
Right.
For the short time I was there, I personally loved it. I would love to visit the desert again.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome to come to Tucson anytime. Our monsoon season, hopefully there'll be one this year, will be around June, July, and there's nothing like how fresh the air is after a good thunderstorm. There, it's just hard to describe. You have to be here to get what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've never been in a desert, to be honest. I mean,
if you've been to the highlands, you've been to the desert.
Yeah, right. It's a different kind, though.
Yes.
Like a black desert.
Just a little.
Okay. You're good, Corinne?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Michael Ritpat. Did I Ritpat? I guess.
Ritpath.
Yeah.
I don't have any question this time, so carry on.
Okay, all right. Then we're straight to Philip O'Reilly. It's enjoyable to see you again. You were with us last time, right?
I was. Hello again, and good to see you both. How have you been?
We've been good.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions this time, unlike last time where I had no questions, so a bit more prepared. My first one is that I have been studying Icelandic for about a year now and using various resources and lessons and things like that. But the main roadblock I've come up against now is finding someone to practice with. So I was wondering if you know of any forums or places like that for new learners that meet up and talk to each other. Yeah. Anything like that.
Well,
yeah, I can recommend. Are you living in Iceland then?
No, over here in Ireland at the moment.
I'll tell you what. You put in a request to join immigrants living in Iceland on Facebook if you have a Facebook account. I know the admin there, and normally the rule is you have to live in Iceland in order to join this group. But if I tell the admin that like you're looking for people to practice Icelandic with, I assume native speakers would be more interested in speaking.
Yeah, anyone.
Yeah,
Anyone
then
really. I'm not picky.
you can probably be bumped in there, and everyone who lives there knows somebody Icelandic, and most of them are native English speakers, and they should be able to set you up with somebody who's willing. And then you can work out the terms from there, whether you're willing to pay for the time or you just want to have a friend to chat or whatever. And so that's what I would recommend doing. So my Icelandic is, I don't recommend learning Icelandic for me.
Well, I understand it. There is we can have a pretty complicated
This is
conversation.
true. It's just my accent is, you don't want to learn like how to pronounce Icelandic for me because I put zero effort into trying to get rid of my accent.
I was going to say, like, unless you guys want to be friends, you know, talk to
Yeah,
you.
what about college?
Second question.
I'm a horrible teacher, to be honest. I have no patience. It's just a flaw with me. I'm constantly like trying to be better in this, but I can't.
Yes.
No pressure. Second question then is, Andy, you mentioned last time that you are a part of the pagan church in Iceland. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could tell us more about that. Over here in Ireland, there's a bit of a pagan community, and I've been to a few fire festivals and things like that. I just wondering if you could give us more. Yeah, I have a friend who's a witch. Well, as she identifies, and yeah, on the solstices like Beltane and that, we go down to their land by the sea and make effigies and have a few fire ceremonies. So I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about the Icelandic tradition.
There's a religious organization called Ásatrúarfélagið, the Ásatrú Society, that was established in 1972. They are the largest non-Christian denomination in Iceland with some thousands of members. I don't remember the exact figure. And they try to stay in tune with what we know about the Old Norse tradition of the pantheon of the gods and goddesses and the holidays that were celebrated and how they were celebrated. Mm-hmm. I myself was married under pagan rites by the chair with an Alherjagóði, yeah, the chieftain of this group. And it's important an important distinction needs to be made here between Ásatrú and Odinism.
Odinism?
Yes.
Wow, is that a thing?
It is a thing.
That's interesting.
Hilmar Hilmarsson, who is the chief of the Ásatrú Society, it seems every year he has to answer for white supremacist groups who
I've seen that, yeah.
who call their faith Odinism, which is actually perversion of the pagan faith, mm-hmm. Where he has to constantly say, we are not we at the Ásatrú Society, we completely distance ourselves from these people. We are not racist. We embrace all people. We're very diverse. And this is true. Like, my wife is also a trans woman. And when we were getting married, I asked the chieftain, so this is pretty historic for you, huh? You've married two trans women together. And he was like, no, this isn't my first time. It was just very matter of fact for him.
That's amazing.
Like, did not care one way or the other. Like, as far as he's concerned, we're all children of the gods.
And Hilmar also you probably know this guy because he has often, he collaborated with Sigurós.
Yeah.
With a fantastic.
Odin's Raves and Magic, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he is just a fantastic artist also. And the pagan society is like very open, and like everyone that tries to make it racist do not know much about paganism.
No.
He's actually on the list of people I'd like to meet when I go over there. So
yeah, right. He is absolutely wonderful, and he's just
he's a real sweetheart.
Yeah, he is. And like paganism, of course, in Iceland is like growing very fast because for a few reasons. Of course, like in probably all of your countries, the biggest churches are always shrinking slowly, though. And it seems that that Icelanders go to the paganism instead of being like in no religious churches, or what would you call it, lífskoðunarfélag,
philosophical.
Yeah, right. And therefore, it's growing quite fast, and it's also because we have so many traditions, of course, still in Icelandic culture that are very pagan, like, and especially from like from January to like until the summer, and we do a lot over the summer also. Although we do not have like, what did you say you have, like fire festival or?
Yeah, that Bealtaine, which is the spring solstice in Ireland, and the winter solstice as well. We would just go to our friend's house and build a big effigy and burn it, and you would write down one thing you want to remember, one thing you want to forget going forward from that point, and you burn it, and you burn each of them, and you keep them in mind.
Do you put a Scottish policeman inside of the effigy first? No?
No. That's a very different thing.
Okay.
But yeah, we probably have very many traditions in like the same tradition like in Ireland as in Iceland. Of course, the two countries were very connected, like in the 1200s and so on. Like all like you know, I often speak about Kári Stefánsson, the mad scientist of Iceland. He is a genius, of course, and he has this company called Decode. And they have found out that all rat hats in Iceland have forefathers from Ireland. So it's like we have among them are my girlfriends. So so it's we have a lot of connection with Ireland.
We sure do. We sure do.
You good, Philip?
That's even more than I ever going to ask for. So thank you.
Okay.
Very welcome.
Jerry, do you want to ask something?
Sure, thanks. For starters, I just want to say thank you for all you're doing. You've been fans for a while and enjoying not just the Volcano broadcast, but all the news broadcasts. In fact, my birthday present a couple years ago was my Reykjavík Grapevine sweatshirt that still gets worn and always gets someone's attention here in the United States. So we're here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Nice and cold. And I've been to Iceland about 6 times, my wife about 4 times, and we're coming back in July to bring my my niece, who this is her graduation present from high school. So we're bringing my niece, it'll be her first trip to Iceland.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to all of that. We're going to spend 3 days in Reykjavik, 3 days on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Two of our favorite spots. But my question for you is, particularly for our few days in Reykjavik, what is something new and exciting in Reykjavik that wouldn't have been in any of the tour books, only the locals know about, that we can, and our interests are wide. They're very, very broad. So you probably can't pick anything that we wouldn't be interested in. So what's new that the locals are doing in Iceland that we should make sure we spend some time doing?
Wow, that's actually a hard one, because for 2 reasons actually. Iceland has been like we have been in like a sleeping mode almost during the whole COVID thing. Everybody is very aware of the situation and therefore not doing too much. So it means that we are losing a lot of coffee houses and restaurants and just a lot of businesses altogether. Also, me and Andie, we are of course just family people, and we never go out. So what I really love to do though, and Icelanders do, and it's very Icelandic, and it's not a secret at all, but we just like the swimming pools. We go as often as we can with our kids, our friends, or whatever, and we just go into the swimming pools to do whatever, talk about politics, play in the pool, go into the slide, or whatever. So I would just recommend just going for the swimming pools. I mean, there are of course there are new swimming pools actually, which is I went there the other day when we were doing the Icelandic perspective, which is the Sky Lagoon, and I have to say that it was a very unique experience. Although we were very used to hot baths, but this was on another and different scale. So I think you would not be disappointed if you would visit there.
Great. No, that's fantastic. That might probably be a great way to introduce our niece to the real Iceland too, because we've been to the Blue Lagoon, but that's a whole separate thing. Doing one of the pools right there in Reykjavik would probably be great. Thanks for that idea. I appreciate it.
One question though, I have to ask you something. I see that you have like photos behind you. Is this Landmannalaugar, and what's the other one?
It's funny that you mentioned that a lot, because it reminds us of Landmann. which I can never pronounce properly, but it reminds us of it because we've been there in Iceland. This particular photo is from up in Peru, in the Andes in Peru.
Really?
And they call it Rainbow Mountain because of all the
okay.
chemicals and copper and everything that are in the rock there. So
Well, exactly the same landscape as you can find in Honolulu. Okay.
it is, because we have a photo of that in Iceland in another room in our house. And people say, are those two from the same place? We're like, believe it or not, they're about as far apart as it gets.
Wow, okay.
But they're very, very similar, because that's our, we'd have a hard time choosing between travel to South America and travel to Iceland and Scandinavian countries, because those are clearly our two favorite parts of the
good
regions
problem
of the world travel. No, it's wonderful. And thank you so much for getting to my question, because I was worried that I was going to have to drop off because I have a meeting at the bottom of the hour that I have to get to in the office. So I'm really happy that I got to say thank you for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm very glad, and thank you. And then we're to Christina Height. Do you want to ask us something?
Yeah, so you guys just talked a little bit about religion in Iceland, and I remember reading an article a couple of years ago that Iceland banned religious indoctrination for children.
Sorry, what again?
The banned religious indoctrination for children.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think sounds really cool, but that's my opinion. But then in a lot of videos, I feel like you've been saying that, the Christianity is important and religion is important to Icelandic people. So I was wondering how that's going, if it has a lot of support, just if that's still the way things are, because I haven't heard anything about it after that. I think it was like 2018 or something. So since we were talking about religion anyway, I just thought I'd ask about it.
Perhaps I can answer my first point is I've been a journalist since 2005 and often written about and often been in odd wars with the church through as a journalist. And the thing is that it always surprises me how many actually believe are in the church in Iceland, and how many actually believe in God. The thing is that we are automatically signed into the church, meaning that when I was born, I was automatically in Lutheran church,
that's if your mother is a member of a national church at the time that you're born, then you're automatically registered.
In the 80s, yes. I mean, then basically it was nobody. I mean, I was never taught anything about religion. My parents weren't really religion. Icelanders are not very religious people. But there is always, I mean, I would say 20% of the nation that are quite religious, and this becomes more of a debate than you're always very surprised how much of a debate it was or is. So when it comes to the children, it was just a simple idea, is that Icelanders have been Christian society for so long, and we never really thought about it. But in 2010, we had so many more immigrants in Iceland that are in Islam or Hinduism or whatnot. And then, of course, we realized, perhaps it's not appropriate that priests are visiting the schools and giving us, for example, I got this Bible when I was 10 years old. I think I just lost it on my way home, basically, like everybody just did. And I mean, religion is not a big factor in Iceland. We are very science-based society, and it's just not. I don't know.
What I've noticed most of all, especially from my time in Parliament, is that Christianity matters the most to a certain segment of people when it's put side by side with people from other cultures. For example, I sat on the Education Committee in Parliament, and we received this omnibus bill that included Kristnafræði in schools, the teaching of Christianity in schools. And we had days of debate about this. And the argument that's usually used by a very populist segment of the political spectrum is that it's not about teaching Christianity, you see, it's about teaching our cultural heritage. Right. It's about teaching history. Christianity is a big part of Icelandic traditions and bank holidays and things like this. And that's what it's really about. And the counter argument to this is, you know, if you want to learn about Christianity, go to church.
And nobody's in the church. They're actually completely
yeah, that's the
every
problem.
Sunday.
That is the problem. And separation of church and state is also very complicated. Like, even though like most Icelanders support this, the problem is that the church owns a lot of land that we would need to pay them for.
They own
if there was separation of church and
they
state.
own the land like for the whole towns, like for example, the town of Akranes, which is just a town of like 3,000 people or something. The church own the land, just historically. So it's a really complicated issue. But historically, I mean, Icelanders were never Christian in a way. We kind of just became it because of it was a matter of like in the beginning when we became Christian, then the chieftain said, well, the other option is that Norway would just invade Iceland and take it over. So for a diplomatic reason, they basically said, we were very, very diplomatic about it. Said, we are Christian, but if you want to be a pagan, you can do it, but just don't show anyone that you are, to hide it. And the same thing is like when we became Catholic, we really hated the Catholics. It was a very oppressive time in Iceland. It was dark ages, as in everywhere. We ended up beheading the bishop of Catholicism, a Catholic bishop in Iceland, which was the Catholicism has never basically been back on schedule since then.
Until now.
Even till now, but it's because of the Polish community and so on. And then, like of course, in the 1800s, the 1900s, we became Lutheran, and this, of course, like everybody knows, it was the lazy form of religion you can find, like being a Lutheran. You don't really have to do anything. You just have to be in the church and just if you want to go to the church, fine. If not, fine. I mean, who cares? And therefore, we are like what we call a very lazy Christian people. We don't really care, but it's a fun thing to debate about.
Yes, Martin Luther, the original call-out poster.
I love the guy. Gave us a diplomatic one more diplomatic version of Christianity.
Yes.
So that's kind of Icelandic historic Christianity.
So to answer your question, it's complicated.
Thank you.
Okay. So anything more, Kristina?
No, thank you very much. I love you both.
Thank you. Laura Rogers, welcome.
Hey,
How
I
are
don't
you?
really have any questions.
Okay.
I never really think of anything good until like probably after I hang up. I'm like, oh.
I know the feeling.
But I was actually, well, I do I'm just sort of curious. I'm hoping to be in Iceland in September, early September.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe of going out to the volcano, but I don't want to be that one tourist that loses their footing and you know. So I was just sort of curious, like, what's the hike like? Is it getting better than it?
Much better. I think everybody can do it, but that said, it's not an easy hike. It's you have to climb like technically you need to climb 2 or 3 mountains.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I mean technically the first mountain is you take it in two ways up, but then you have to go up to the third mountain, which is the closest to the volcano. It is like hard, but the trick is to go slow. It's simple, and then you can definitely get there. And I mean, me and Art, we hike this in like 40 minutes now. When we started hiking it before the pack, it took us like 1.5 hours just to show you how much it has changed. It was really rough to begin with, but it's getting better. And the next time we go, it will probably be even better. And I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I think they're thinking about like trying to allow people to take the bus as close as they can to the volcano. There are roads there, but then again, we have like lava going everywhere. And it could disrupt some of these routes. So
Okay.
So I say just keep in mind, don't go into sneakers. If you go into sneakers, then you're more likely to like twist your ankle, and that's
Right.
ankle, ankle.
Yeah, I am planning on getting some decent hiking boots and
and then you're just absolutely fine. I just check out the like safetravel.is because I don't know if you saw my last video. It was like sunny, beautiful day.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Like the glass, it sounded like glass breaking. That was nuts.
And it's the most annoying hiking weather ever when you have like this incredible wind, but everything is like wonderful beside that.
That's great.
Right.
Yeah, right. It's like there is nothing to shield you for the winds because, well, we don't have trees here. So.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
You good, Laura?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anya, do you want to ask something?
Yeah, hi. I have a question about the history on whale fishing, because in the newscast you were walking along the harbor.
Yeah.
And we've been to Iceland in 2009, and there were two very old, rusty whale fishing boats, and I think they disappeared.
Yeah.
And now I was not sure if one was lying in the background.
Hvalur 1 og Hvalur 2, or whale number 1 and whale number 2. Whaling, yes, we have a very conflicted ideas about this. Of course, whaling was banned after one of 2 terrorist attacks ever committed in Icelandic soil. The first one was farmers in the south. They blew up a dam that they hated because they said it was destroying the nature, and it was absolutely right, in my opinion, that they did this. The other one was, I think it was the Sea Shepherd, the green?
Yes, Sea Shepherd.
Sea Shepherd, yeah. They blew a hole in this whaling ships in 1986, and after that, of course, Icelanders were not very happy about it. The common opinion was that these were just bandits, almost like criminals. But what we did though is that we stopped whaling afterwards. But in 2009, was it 8?
Moratorium.
Yeah, it was 2008 or 9. Then we had like this really odd Minister of Fishery in Iceland. And the last thing he did when they were like changing government, they lost the election, and we were having a new government. And he changed actually the laws and said that we were allowed to whale, to go and hunt the whales for scientific reasons. This is a very like famous loophole that some countries use. I think Iceland does this.
Japan.
Well, Japan just are full-on whaling, I think, but.
They were also doing scientific purposes for some of their whaling, like in Australian waters, not in Australian waters, but in international waters near Australia.
I don't know what more we need to know about whales. I think they have been researched quite well throughout the ages. So this is obviously just like a cover, meaning that there is this one guy, and he's a billionaire, of course, and he is also one of like the most influential characters when it comes to fishery in Iceland. And he had this he's literally like Captain Ahab of Iceland. And he was just obsessed of hunting whales. Although Icelanders, for example, in the 80s, I grew up with eating whale meat because it was so cheap. But it's really not that good, to be honest. I mean, you can do it well, but at least when my mother was doing it, it was not very good.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's very dry, and it's like you always put like sugar over it or something just to make it like any taste of it. So I absolutely hated this. And my generation was basically the last one that ate whale meat. When they started whaling again, they tried to sell this in Icelandic markets, but of course there was no market for it. Yeah. We don't really like this meat. But there was a market for tourists. So the only people that actually ate whale meat was tourists. And the thing is that in the end, I think they basically just sold this as a dog food to Japan or something. It was really sad.
And even that was kind of shady.
Really shady. Yeah. So the ships there, the black ones, they are there for almost, I don't really know why they're taking this, valuable space there, but the answer is that they are still there, both of them actually. Nobody really uses them, but the owner, the billionaire, he can afford to pay all the fees that you have to pay to have a ship there, and he just doesn't do it. You don't really care. So it's a weird battle. We're not very proud of it. I don't really care like if you hunt like 1 or 10 whales, but if you do it to make like dog food, then what the hell? It makes no sense.
This is true. It's a big difference. It's a big difference between like indigenous people, such as the Inuit, hunting whale as a part of their cultural traditions and for subsistence, and just hunting whales because the rest of the world told you you shouldn't, and you're not going to let some foreigners tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So you're just going to go hunt whales and sell them to Japan and Norway to turn into dog food. I mean, I don't know. I have very strong opinions about that.
Well, as an Icelander, I'm conflicted. I'm not all against it, but I think it needs to have a very clear purpose. And my philosophy is if you can't back it up with good logic, then it makes no sense. I mean, it's simple as that.
This is true because the whales, the only argument about whaling that I find compelling is that whales spend their lives swimming in the ocean. They have free and full lives. They might die a painful death, but if we're applying ethical standards to whaling, then what about factory farming? What about our pigs and sheep and chicken? Well, not the sheep so much, but the pigs and the cows and the chickens in this country. And to that, I would say, yeah, let's ban that too.
Yeah, I mean,
all together.
But yeah, these ships
that's
are
not a popular.
Nah, these ships are they're almost what would you call it? Relics as well as minstök. It's it's the old term of when you were when someone did something wrong, you could take a stick, put a horse head on it, and you made a curse out of it. And it was if you were an idiot, you got this stick. And this is kind of the.
It's our shame.
That's our shame. This ship, yeah, basically.
Wow.
Do you want me to be more precise, or any more questions? Or?
Yeah, but they could make a museum out of it and point to the history.
That's a fantastic point. Yes,
they
didn't. Christian Loftsson, the guy, the billionaire that owns these ships, he is himself kind of a relic. He's a very much of an old school character, and you can see that he is one of the richest men in the world. But you always see him in these steel
these knee-high rubber boots.
Yeah, in his rubber boots, and it's you would not recognize this man as a billionaire on the street. Yeah. You would think he was an odd farmer, and he is quite unique in that way actually. And he has done a lot of good things, but this is not one of them.
Oh, geez.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Kurt. Wait, I'm gonna go, and I forgot because you were so late.
You're right.
Well, what is wrong with?
I don't know.
Wait, I'm gonna mute as much as I can. Kurt, we'll come back to you. It's a weird sound coming from you. Okay, Yves. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's Kurt.
Sorry, Kurt.
Thank you.
For those who weren't here, on the subject of what I might miss from the United States came up, and Cheez-Its was the very first thing that came to mind. And
what is this? I have never seen this before.
Cheese crackers.
Does everybody from the US know what this is? Oh, okay.
They're salted cheese crackers, and they don't sell them here, which is unusual considering all the junk food that you'll find in the markets normally. And So
Oh, yeah,
her
we have
lucky
those.
enough to actually bring these to Iceland expressly for us.
Yeah, you missed it. He came here yesterday. I think I called it Jim, right? Sorry about that.
So now I have these, and I'm a happy girl. And wow, win a trip to the Celebrity Crunch Classic. I can also enter into this if I want to.
You never know, Andy, now do you?
Yeah. All right. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing this across the ocean. Even though you were coming here anyway, I still really appreciate you taking up valuable luggage space just to bring these. It's very nice.
Okay, Yves, what do you say?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. You may have read it this morning. The first one was about fires in Iceland.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Exactly.
just
You're talking about like
to hear about
the forest fires.
Yeah, yes.
But it's called brush
doing
fires in Iceland.
Yeah, they're brush fires.
Yeah, it's never like, we never have a forest fire, but this was possibly the closest thing we have had to a forest fire, the one in Hilmurk, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, Reykjavík and the greater Reykjavík area is the most green area in Iceland. It wasn't always like that. It's actually just a lot of organizations, as well as just people just planting trees in their gardens, has made Reykjavík the absolutely greenest area in Iceland. And Hilmurk is a part of that. And it's been so dry. I have not, it's not often that we get weeks without rain in Iceland. But we got like a very cold atmosphere, very dry, and therefore they think that there was possibly just someone just barbecuing in the area. And in their defense, it's like, I do the same. I would never have thought like I could actually spark a fire like that in Iceland. But often we have brush fires, of course, but they are also often very contained. It's like farmers, they do it themselves to get like greener grass, and it gets faster up, grows faster.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, it's just a weird season. It's part of this weird winter. It was very mild, very warm in many ways. I think we had like within 7 days of snow this winter, which is we haven't seen that in decades. So it's weather changes
all over the country, because I read about fires in the north, I think also.
Yeah, just Iceland is like if you do not believe in global warming, you should pay attention to Iceland right now. It's the weather is changing. That's for sure, and we're getting much odd, like, we wouldn't say extreme weathers, but you can feel it definitely if you live here, that things are like 3 weeks of dry weather is a little bit extreme actually in this time of year. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's volcano in Reykjanes Peninsula now attracts tourism again. What about frequency in other areas compared to the pre-COVID era? Does East Iceland feel abandoned?
Yeah, about
Iceland has always been abandoned.
Always been, still is.
Which is a real shame. It's a beautiful, beautiful country.
Yeah,
It's part of the country.
Yes, it is.
My favorite town in Iceland is Seyðisfjörður.
Yeah.
It was, as you probably all know, recently devastated by a landslide last December.
Yeah, because of the warmness.
Yes, but it's absolutely gorgeous, but it's not really the most accessible place to visit. Like, there's a lot of going in and out of fjords as you go up. But if you do make it here, I highly recommend it. It is worth the trip. It is worth every second and every penny you spend getting out there and checking it out.
And the upside is that last summer, when there were no tourists, of course, at all in Iceland. It was even just odd to meet a person that was like spoke another language. But the thing is that Icelanders, they don't even go to the east of Iceland that much. For example, I hadn't been there for like 2 decades. But last summer, all Icelanders went straight to the east of Iceland because we go so often to the south beach, south side of Iceland. Suðurströndin is in Icelandic, but it's not a very good way to describe it. Then we go to Akureyri, of course, but nobody goes past Akureyri. Well, very few. So we went there, and the East was never as booming as just last year. It was quite amazing. So Icelanders go there because it's like going into another country almost.
Okay.
You can find many like smaller towns, and it's absolutely wonderful. So
I love this question too. Here, Yves is referring to a RUV article, that's National Broadcasting, predicting a 20% increase in the price of apartments at the end of 2023.
Yeah, right.
Asking if wages augment accordingly. And I'm laughing because
seems huge.
no, they do not.
About wages.
Every single time, it's like the cost of living goes up, or the price of apartments goes up, or the rent goes up, and unions begin asking for wage increases. Like the same characters will appear before the news and talk about how if we raise wages, we will increase inflation, which is not entirely true. Not at least not 100%. It's a little bit more complex than that. And unions have to fight tooth and nail to get like a modest increase in wages. Strikes have to happen. It's so no, wages don't increase accordingly, but they will increase after a long fight in collective bargaining, sometimes after a strike. And it's unfortunate that most of these strikes involve like industries that you would think are important, like nurses and teachers, for example, like the teachers strike some years back.
Teachers get fine salaries now after a lot of fight for it.
Yeah.
And others like what do you call it, like
essential.
Yeah, but the thing is with the housing thing is like we have this very aggressive like own your place, own your house or apartment thing in Iceland. It's like it's a policy almost. The rental market is absolutely horrible. It's just not good. The laws are not in the favor of the rents. It's always in the favor of those that owns the apartments. And is for example, like if anyone of you is from Germany or know Germany well, it's like Germany has like a fantastic laws about this, and Icelanders are always trying to. It's like our goal is just to go a little bit closer to that. But because of their government is so like aggressive about this policy about everybody owning its own place, meaning that it doesn't really matter actually if the cost is going up or down or whatnot. It means that I kind of just own more money in 2 years, like then my money is 22% more. It's almost like an investment, like buying a stock in something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Apple, something.
Policy that worked out great in 2009 in the United States.
Yeah, well, and this means that yeah, this is like more complicated news than you think actually.
Yeah.
It's more, it actually talks into like the homeowners, which are like I would say well over 50%, like more than that, 60, 70.
Far more than that. I did a feature story about the rental market in Iceland not too long ago, and the thing is that when you're in a rental situation, as I am, and as most immigrants are, you can end up stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
it's really hard to break out of it. Like I wouldn't say I'm poor per se, but like because of the bank's policies, if you're poor, okay, and you end up owing money on bills, you're put on a vanskilaskrá, which is a blacklist basically. So you're not eligible for loans. And you end up in this vicious circle of just paying down the interest of the money that you owe for your bills. And you can't get a loan to buy your own place. And so even though if you did own your own place, in the long run, you would pay less for where you're living than you would if you were renting. Yeah. You're not going anywhere, barring some incredible windfall, like winning the lottery or landing an incredible job.
Mm-hmm. For example, it seemed it's actually the same with Icelanders. We have a very simple way to buy our houses. I did this, and my girlfriend actually. We wait until our parents dies. Simple as that. So we get the inheritance.
Yeah.
That's the only reason most of my generation can buy anything is because either they die or they pay you out in like
Yeah.
before. So it's like it's a grim thing. I mean, I'm just waiting for my mother to die, and I can buy another apartment. Oh, I'm joking. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
My parents don't live here, so I'm SOL. Like, my family does not have money socked away.
Yeah, well, but my mother has a house and she doesn't owe anything in it, so that's how it is.
Okay. Be nice to your mom.
Yes,
Be the favorite child.
Yes, thank God. Well, I have a younger sister. It's hard to compete with her. Are you good, Yves? Or?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we go to Katie. Do you have any questions?
Hi, you guys covered a lot of them. I guess maybe I'll just pick one of the easiest ones. You might have already covered this before, but I was kind of curious about like maybe one holiday tradition, like winter holiday tradition, that you guys like, that's kind of rooted in an Icelandic tradition.
Winter holiday tradition,
Yeah.
Specifically winter holidays.
Yeah, because I've just been trying to think of other things that I could incorporate, like in our Christmas, even though we're not Christian, we still celebrate Christmas kind of.
Oh, yeah, you emailed questions in this regard. Yes.
So, well,
Leverbröd.
Leverbröd, yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. Especially if you make them, you can buy, for the unfamiliar, leverbröd is like this very wafer thin type of deep fried bread, and it has very pretty patterns cut into it. And yeah, you can buy a stack of them in the store, but if you get like a special pattern cutting tool and the actual dough yourself, you can have a lot of fun having a bunch of people over, making the leverbröd, making your own personalized patterns and frying them up. I think that's really endearing. I think that's probably my favorite of the winter traditions in this country. I used to like Thorbló, but I'm vegan now, and you cannot celebrate Thorbló and be vegan with all that meat.
Yeah, I think actually Thorrablót is definitely my favorite festival for a few reasons. It's like the nasty futakoss, the disgusting shark, the brennivin, like the burnt wine, like burnt liquors that you drink.
Sheep face.
Yeah, and basically it's very close connected to getting like very drunk. And also what you, for example, for me, and many like families do this. We like ættarmót. How is that?
Family reunions.
Family reunions, yes. So we have a family reunion. Like I have a very big family in Hafnarfjörður, town of Hafnarfjörður. And they all come and meet and they drink beer and we play cards for a whole night. And these are like 90-year-old people like hustling you in this card game we call Félagsvist, which is I guess Brits or something like that. Brits.
Probably.
Yeah, it's Brits, I think. We just get drunk and play Brits. It's wonderful.
It's either Brit or Pinochle, I'm not sure.
And the thing is, I always have to like remember the rules, and all the old women are like, "What are you doing, Valur? Never put this out. I'm with you." Like they're like crazy about things, and like they're very like competitive about it. So it's fun.
And she also asks, receives some of the genealogy, which shows some cool historical figures, and I'd like to read more about Iceland's history in English. Any recommendations in terms of Icelandic history in English?
What is genealogy?
Like your family tree.
Yeah. Right.
Iceland's history in English. Tell you what, I will look into this personally. Since you sent this email, I have your email. And if I find something good, because I'm sure I'll be able to, and I'll have access to resources that you might not have, I will send you links to them. But off the top of my head, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like with Icelandic history, of course, I wouldn't recommend that anyone under 30-year-old would read the Icelandic Viking sagas. I mean, like about Grettir or Egill or
Is that what you want to read? Do you want to read the sagas, or do you want to know the history of Iceland?
Well, I am over 30 now.
Oh, okay. Oh, you look younger than me.
Compliment. I'm almost 33. So, but I mean, here's the thing, like there was with my family history and stuff, there were some things that were shared, but you know, it was my great grandparents that came over And so I'd like to learn more, and there's bits and pieces and stuff. So I've kind of looked at the sagas, but yeah, it's a little bit intimidating on some of the stuff, is not understanding some of the context and stuff. But I just kind of want to dive in. So yeah, any suggestions that you have of I'm kind of interested in like the pre-Christianity, religion and that kind of thing too. So
in that case, I actually know a couple of historians, and one of them is fluent in English. I can either put you in touch with him, or I'll just ask him myself.
We'll Google it. It's an interesting question, actually.
Yes.
There's nothing on top of my mind, actually. But,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a really good book called Iceland Saga by Magnus Magnusson, which has different places in Iceland and then different times of Icelandic history. And it's really well written and very evocative. So you not only get Iceland's history, but you also get the places related to it. It was published about 20 years ago, but I found it really good and well written as well as interesting, and it gives you a kind of overview.
Well, thank you.
There's always that. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Can you hear me now? I tried another microphone.
Yes.
Okay.
It was like listening to Daft Punk or something, like the beginning.
Okay. I have this book called The Vikings, and that's a good book by Jonathan Clements, and it's got some sections on Iceland, which is very good. And there's another one that I got recently called Island on Fire. And it is by Alexandra Witz and Jeff Kaniep. And I'll type into the chat box here these titles and authors' names so that you can have those as well. I also put up this picture. I put up the picture of the cat, the Christmas cat. That's my favorite Christmas thing. There's the idea that children who don't get clothing at Christmas get eaten by this giant cat.
Yes.
So, and they put this up. They put this up downtown.
That's basically what we're trying to say.
Yes. So yeah, you can hear me now.
Yes.
So I should be on a Verizon commercial or something like that. That picture I had up earlier of the volcano, I wanted to tell Laura, that is actually a picture that I took from the first mountain, as they mentioned, going through 3 mountains to get there. If you want to sort of poop out after the first mountain, you can still get a good view.
Yeah, that's true.
That eruption was happening about once every 15 minutes or so, so that you can see that there. But that took me about 25 minutes to get to that point, and that was all improved roads. And that was just last Friday. So I'm sure things will get even better as we go along. And then, of course, yesterday I got to meet Polly. So if I can get myself out of the way here, there.
Aww.
So yes, that was quite a lot of fun as well. So yes, and I'm still jet lagged now. So, but I thought I'd make everybody envious that I got to meet Polly.
Yeah, she was very happy to meet someone. She was like very bored of me, like alone at the office at the time. Like,
well, next time I'll bring Cheez-Its and dog biscuits.
Yeah, right.
And Katie's third and final question is, I did not get the opportunity to grow up around Icelandic being spoken. Where even to start it? Icelandic is very intimidating.
Yes. Já, hún það, svo sannarlega.
Well, I can recommend what I did to learn Icelandic as it is spoken, rather, because when you take Icelandic lessons in Iceland, they'll often give you these hypotheticals that you're never going to use in real life. Like,
we're horrible.
Where can I buy 10 pairs of white socks? You learn how to say that in Icelandic. When are you ever going to use that sentence? You won't. So I highly recommend watching Icelandic programming with English subtitles or English programming with Icelandic subtitles. The first is more, pardon me, I'm losing my voice lately. The first one, I would really recommend getting Næturvaktin, Night Shifts. It's a television series that was that came out some years ago. You can get it on DVD. It has English subtitles, and the Icelandic that they use in this show is very modern and it's very Reykjavik specific. These are Icelandic people who are speaking Icelandic the way that it's spoken.
And it's hilarious also.
It also happens to be incredibly funny. It's cringe comedy. So if you're not big on like The Office or what have you, so if you're not big on cringe comedy, maybe it's not your thing, but it's really, really funny. And
it's like
very exciting.
Everything you need to know about Icelandic culture is more or less in these shows.
Yeah, The Night Shift. And you can get it on DVD. My dad, who still lives in the States, he had bought it and reported that he found it really funny. And so you can compare the spoken Icelandic with the written English. Conversely, if you're able to find English anything like television shows or movies with Icelandic subtitles, that can also give you some clues. But like Icelandic subtitle Icelandic is often a little bit removed from Icelandic as it's actually used. Like you see this anytime somebody in a movie or television show swears. For example, like the granddaddy of all English swear words, the 12-letter word. You know what I'm talking about?
Like hver röndóttur.
Yeah. Like swears that will sound like what the devil or fiddlesticks. Or like translate really bad English swears, and it's
or like
it's
the F word is like fjárinn, which is like the
devil.
The devil, just the devil. It's not. Icelandic can be very. The written language is very different from the spoken language. That's true.
Yes.
It's like very.
Or at least subtitle Icelandic is very different.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is an interesting study because, as Margaret Atwood once pointed out, the culture swear words is based largely on what they fear, which is why swear words in Quebecois are, for example, taken from artifacts of the Catholic Church. English swear words are about bodily functions, and in Iceland, it's all about the devil.
And we don't really believe it even in it, not that much. I mean, well, I don't know. Sometimes. I don't really care. Are you good, Katie? Anything more?
But as far as
yes, thank you.
For like formal settings for learning, we did a video, tips and tricks video on learning Icelandic remotely, and you can check that out on our YouTube channel.
And good luck. It's not I mean, it was even hard for Icelanders to learn it. I think I didn't know how to write Icelandic correctly until I was like, well, close to 30 years old. And I was like, I published my first poet when I was 24. And it was like, and everybody was like, it's like Icelanders are very fascist about the language. So it's very, it's a tough territory. But, and it's even very hard to speak to Icelanders in English, in Icelandic, because we don't have the patience for the accent or anything. It's just, we're horrible about this.
But don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
These people have to get used to hearing Icelandic spoken with an accent.
Exactly.
And so insist upon it. If you speak Icelandic to someone and they answer you in English, keep speaking Icelandic. Because they'll do that. They'll think but in fairness to them, they think they're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
Like, oh, true. This is a foreigner, they're struggling with our language. I'm going to help them out and just speak English.
Because we're so good in English, we think.
Yes.
Which is not entirely correct either.
So
great. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Jonat Manato. Right. Hi.
Hi. I also emailed. I'm sorry that I've been popping in and out of the video. I'm at work.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Living in New Jersey, working in New York. I'm actually at the UN building right now.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's where I work.
Yeah, what are you doing there? What are you doing there?
I am the assistant in the Department of Political Affairs to the Assistant Secretary General for the Middle East, Asia, and Pacific.
Wow, holy. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yes. Tough era.
Yeah.
Perhaps I just read the question, or what do you think?
Please.
We are traveling to Iceland in August, so my husband, Fred Rossi, can run the Reykjavík Marathon, okay? on the 21st of August, our transgender adult son may be joining us for the trip. We love going to Vesturbæjarlaug and wanted our son to join us there. Do pools normally offer single showers separate from the men's women's locker room? I don't know if this is the right forum for this type of question, but it's worth a shot. This is exactly the right forum, at least.
Yes.
I have no idea. You have to ask her.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. To answer your question, Vesturbæjarlaug does have like separate showers. I don't know what the comfort level of your son is in terms of.
Me neither. I just wanted to just find out all the information and then leave it up to him to make his choice.
Right. So there are separate showers available, but also your son can go into the men's showers.
Awesome.
And in fact, recently the city of Reykjavík sent some information pamphlets to staff of Reykjavík City pools on how to answer questions that come from other clients. Like, hey, what is this person doing in the showers? And what happened, how to respond to these things. Now, personally, like I haven't been able to work up the nerve to go swimming at a public pool in many years. But for those transgender people who do want to, they can either, take this third option for showers and changing rooms, or if they're especially brave, not that you're not going to get attacked or something like that, but like it's more like they do this passive aggressive thing where they complain to a staff member rather than confront you directly. And so,
well, I'm sure his father will be with him, and we don't understand Icelandic, so.
Okay, well, if his father's with him, then it shouldn't be an issue. He can go into the showers and the changing rooms of his gender.
Great, that's wonderful.
That's how it is in Reykjavik.
Yeah. Also, like I know there is a lot of everybody knows it when you Google it that Iceland showers naked. We do it, yes, of course. Doesn't mean that you have to. If he wants to be in his trousers and bathe, I think it's no problem. I think everybody would understand. So it's like it's not like a holy rule that everybody follows. For example, just my son, the older one, he doesn't feel this uncomfortable. He feels this uncomfortable. He's just at that age, like 12 years old. So he doesn't want to. And I mean, what are you gonna do? Like no, take it off. Like it makes no sense. It's not like. Also, we do it because decades ago, when we had of course swimming pools all over like we do now, we were not perhaps as clean as we are now.
Right.
So it was very essential that everybody bathed before going into the pool because people, perhaps farmers, hadn't bathed for a while or something. But now people are doing going to shower before they go to the swimming pool, so it doesn't really matter. Also, I just want to point out, if this is too much to do and too much of an obstacle, and I would actually understand it very well, then you can again go to the Sky Lagoon, because which is considerably more expensive though, but they have a neutral gender areas where you can just go into these. You can both shower alone in a locked room. And it's absolutely brilliant. So you don't have to really think about it if you want to go in a place like that.
Yeah.
So
the law is on trans people's side in this country, and it will take, I think, a little while for trans people in Reykjavik to be visible at public pools.
Yeah.
I'm not yet at that point because I'm in this weird middle area physiologically where I am definitely not comfortable in the men's showers, but I would also feel uncomfortable being in showers with other women and just having to explain things. I just don't want to.
Come with us. Come with us. Come with me. You don't have to explain anything.
Good offer.
In the meantime, I might use the third option. I need to find a good swimsuit. Is the main thing.
Problem.
That's actually the biggest problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it is complicated. Just keep in mind, it's not mandatory to bathe naked and so on. As long as Icelanders do it, we're fine. I mean, if Icelanders would stop doing it tomorrow, that would be a problem, perhaps. I don't know. But also we have what do you call not chlorophyll,
chlorine
in the water. And there's a lot of it. Like how clean does this need to be? You know, you've been to like these swimming parks in Spain and so on. They're like nothing like that in there. So I don't know.
Oh, but there's nothing like a local pool in Iceland.
Yeah, right.
We happened upon one our first time a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was transformative. It's actually why we've come back so many times. We've never been to the Blue Lagoon. It's like 9 krona or 900 or whatever it is, $9.
Yeah.
And we just hang out and we just hang out.
Do some swimming, go to the hot tub, get ice cream afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's brilliant.
Some Kleinas and the coffee house.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. And waffles, the waffles, of course, the Icelandic ones.
Yes.
Are you good, Jonat?
I'm good. I'll be back when you have it next time, and we'll talk about some questions about the marathon.
All right.
Yeah, right. Well, I've only once run a marathon, but not a fan of it though. So.
Thank you. I have another meeting. I have to jump off. So thank you so much for for answering my question.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Bye. Rachel M. Oh, there you are. Yes. Hi. No questions. Okay. Good. Do we have something left here?
Katie, Sonia. Yeah. Sonia. Here's a question. I enjoy your video reporting from the volcano site very much. There is a question that never left me since the eruption started. Is there a rhythm like tides to the magmatic flow or lava flow, I assume? I'm Swiss, please forgive my bad English.
Don't worry.
There is in fact. When we did our last feature on the eruptions, when they first started, the volcanologists that we spoke with, Thorvaldur Þórðarson, spoke specifically about like the rhythm of the magma and the flow. So yes, there is. And
yeah, really? What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There is.
Well, Ast was always telling me this. I was like, that's like a conspiracy thing or something. It's down under the earth or something.
No, it's a real thing. It's based both on like magma going into the chamber as lava flows out. It's related to the Earth's gravity, how the way the land shifts. There is like a definite rhythm to it that they've been able to track.
It's related. It's related to the same kind of physical mechanism that runs geysers, and geysers are periodic. And so what you've essentially got is you've got a volcano under the geyser that isn't erupting. I teach earth science, so I know a little bit about it. That's one of the reasons I came this time, and I am hoping that I can declare this on my taxes because I went to the volcano and will use it in my classes. But yes, when I was there on Friday,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, you should be answering these questions exactly. I didn't even know that the flow there was any connections there actually. But it's interesting to see that, like, the fire geyser coming up, how rhythmically it is, like how rhythmic.
When I was there on Friday, it was happening about once every 15 minutes.
Yeah, right. And exactly the same always, right?
Yeah, but that rhythm will change over time as pressure lessens or builds up, depending upon what's happening underneath. And as I guess it broke through the wall again. I saw them building the wall and thought that's not going to hold. And 2 days later, nope, that didn't hold. But yes, it will sort of reset itself over time.
Yeah, right.
But right now, I'm hoping it'll still be going in October. It looks like it may still be bubbling, but it looks a lot. It reminded me actually of Hawaiian volcanoes.
Yeah, right. It's very similar.
Percolate out and then give you new terrain.
Okay. To the last question, perhaps.
Yeah, I think we should really answer this question.
Okay, go for it.
I see Iceland is trying to avoid lava destroying the main road and communications and have built 2 dams, one of which has been breached in an attempt to divert the flow to the Myrdalur Valley. Has anyone considered asking NATO to drop a couple of well-placed bombs at the top of the steep lava flow to encourage a faster flow into Myrdalur, thus reducing the pressure at the dams? NATO, or one of its nations, may be willing to do this for free as a part of its training.
I bet they will. Okay, I have never heard anything like this. He's joking, right?
Steve from the UK.
Yeah, that is absolutely hilarious. So,
Iceland is a NATO country. As you know, we have no standing military, but we do have agreements with the organization where different NATO countries will come here and perform military exercises. This includes air traffic, where the jets will fly around and they'll patrol the airspace and what have you. There was like a drill, like I don't know if it was live fire or not, that they did in one more remote part of the country. But Steve, I'm not sure that dropping bombs on volcanoes would actually help all that much. And I think the people of Grindavik might have something to say about this as well.
Not very comfortable to have an airstrike next to you, to be honest.
No.
Also, like, why? Like, why would you even do that?
As Steve says, it's to encourage a faster flow into the Myrdalur and thus reducing the pressure at the dams. So I'm taking Steve's reasoning to mean that like there's a finite amount of magma beneath the surface, and if you just blow it up, then like you can get all the lava out in one shot. Since the earth scientist is here, what do you think of this idea? Is this a viable solution?
If I were to do anything like that, I would think he might be talking about making a larger crater from the bombing that the stuff could flow into. That would be my guess. But doing anything to the magma itself, no. There could be a potentially almost limitless supply underneath the earth if it decides to all come up at that point. So no, it's not going to do anything to the magma itself. But if you made a wider area that it could flow into, that might be what he was talking about. But that would be my only guess, and I would still think that would be unhelpful because of the unstable geology all around the area as well. You might actually open up new crevices of magma.
That is true, yeah.
This is true.
We could start a new one. I like it. And that's good for tourism, right?
Plus, as far as like the people of Grindavik are concerned, I'm not sure that they would be cool with like a B-52 flying low and carpet bombing Reykjanes. Like it just doesn't seem like something the locals would be really happy about.
Well, I know a few people from Grindavik and they like some action, I can tell you that. So, I mean, not so sure they would hate it.
So Steve, like if you're serious about this idea, email the mayor of Grindavik. You can probably find him online and ask if you can put this in the city council minutes for the next meeting to put it up to a vote.
Just keep in mind, if you propose that you will blow up Reykjanes part, then you have a map in your hand, basically.
Yeah.
They have a rival, so.
You might end up on a blacklist, so bear that in
Oh
mind.
my goodness gracious.
Anyways, that's it for us. I guess thanks. I think all of you to come. I think we will have a new record with guests. This was really fun, and it always is, of course. I love how many of you are coming back. Also, we will, when we have time, when Andie is done with her cheez-it, we will be back, I guess.
Yes.
And we will ask Carl more. I have to test this. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll be back in August and October, so put your orders in now.
Thank you for watching, and of course, remember, if you like any of this, just pick up our magazine, go to our homepage, grapevine.is, check out our YouTube channel. Yes. And just keep on sending us emails.
Could I ask something real quick? I don't mean to interrupt, but can I Facebook request both of you?
Yes,
sure, of course.
Bear in mind, I'm more active on Twitter myself, but you're welcome to send me a friend request.
Okay. because I tried, I'm like, oh, I can't get through. So I just thought, I didn't know if you guys did or did not, so.
I'm not that holy about, about my Facebook. I have very clear walls between my cyber existence and other existence.
I don't. I'm extremely online.
Okay. Okay, that's good. But thank you again. This has been
Thank you.
wonderful.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and see you later, and goodbye.
All right,
Bye
bye-bye.
now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
What do you want me to do, Art? And